8 things I wish I knew before my first trip to Disneyland. These are things that seem obvious to repeat visitors, but will probably surprise you if it's your first visit to the park. Hey, it's Juliet here from the Perfecting the Magic Studios. We have a lot of fun here navigating the parks in style and helping you do it too. Today, it's all about first visits to Disneyland. So there are so many secrets to this park, so many things to learn. I've been a Disneyland annual pass holder for more than 10 years now, and there are things that, man, if I had wound back that clock to the first visit, would have helped me had such a better experience visiting Disneyland and Disney California Adventure for the first time. So let's shortcut that learning curve for you. Let's jump into these 8 tips and help you have the best first trip to Disneyland possible. Tip number 1, know that you can't do everything inside both parks in a single day. It's super easy on your first visit to look at the Disneyland Resort and go, oh, well, Disneyland is super close to California Adventure. I thought to myself, what is it, a 2-3 minute walk? Surely I'll be able to full clear both these parks in a day. Yeah, you could visit Disneyland 10, 20 times and truly not see everything that there is to do inside the park. It's not just about rides here. Think about things like seeing the parades, seeing the live nighttime entertainment. Those activities are gonna be big time sinks. So don't be fooled by Disneyland just because it's a couple minute walk between the parks. There is more than you can possibly do in a single day at even a single park. So manage your expectations for your trip. Not saying don't pick up a park hopper ticket, but just know you're not gonna full clear both Disneyland and California Adventure in a single day. Tip number 2, let's talk food. Popular snacks can and will sell out early at the park. So before my first Disneyland trip, I had an Instagram page that was full of all these save posts, all the foods that I was dying to eat when I visited the park. Well, what no one told me was that a lot of the snacks, particularly the very popular snacks, were actually gonna sell out even as early as noon on the day that I visited. So right now, some of the snacks would be in that real popular list for you is if you're looking for the hot chocolate chip cookies that they're selling at Harbor Galley. If you're really excited about things like the raspberry macaron, all of these things go very early in the day. So here's how we're gonna set you up for success on your Disneyland visit. You're going to mobile order a snack early in the morning. You can actually start mobile ordering as soon as the park opens from your app. You don't even need to be there to get your orders in. Place for whatever pickup time you want, and then that secures your snack for the day. Option B for you is actually going and physically ordering and picking up that item early in the park day. I usually recommend before noon if it's one of those items on that real hot list right now. So either mobile order your snacks or pick it up in person. That way you're not disappointed by having one of your must-get snacks crossed off your list for you. Tip number 3, Genie Plus isn't always worth it. So if you don't know what Genie Plus is, this is a system that replaces fast passes at the park. You spend one flat fee for the day and then it gives you access to shorter wait times for rides. Now, as soon as you enter Disneyland, before you even get there, honestly, Disneyland's gonna be sending you lots of messaging saying, buy Genie Plus, it's a great spend for your day. I'm here to tell you that that might not always be the case. So in general, my rule of thumb, if you're planning on spending less than 7 hours in the park for your first visit, Genie Plus is probably a no-go for you. And that's because the longer you spend in the park, the easier it's gonna be for you to get a good value on that one-day cost. There are some other conditions too though. If you're coming and you're mainly there for the entertainment, to see things like the parades, to enjoy the food, to take in more of the atmosphere and the vibes, Genie Plus probably doesn't make sense for you then either. So buyer beware, Genie Plus may not be the best investment for your first visit, just depending on the other factors. Tip number 4, ride lines stay open until the park actually closes. On my first visit, I assumed that there was some method for gradually shutting down ride lines as they got really long towards the end of the night. Well, Disneyland typically closes at midnight, California Adventure typically closes at 10 p.m., and you can get into any ride line up to a minute before the park closes. So yeah, you can hop on that ride line right at 11:59 p.m. Even if Space Mountain's got a 60-minute wait, yeah, as long as you're in that line before the clock strikes 12, you're all good. This opens up some cool opportunities for you for things like jumping in a ride line for a lengthier wait right at the close of the park because, yeah, you're gonna be able to eke every single minute out of your Disneyland ticket if you do that. Tip number 5, you can request seating preferences at certain rides in the park. So I definitely didn't think about this in my first visit, but yes, Disneyland is happy to accommodate seating preferences on certain rides at the park. I'm gonna leave a note for you as to which these are right up here. So let's say you wanna do front row on Incredicoaster. Personally, I think front row is the way to ride Incredicoaster. So all you need to do is ask the cast member right before they load you in a specific row, say, hey, can I wait for the front row? Hey, can I wait for the back row? And Disneyland will be happy to accommodate you. Tip number 6, dining reservations are a must. So at Disneyland in particular, you may think you can just stroll into the park, kind of eat wherever you want. Now, if you want to do quick service, if you want to just grab and go and eat at a casual restaurant, totally. But if you're looking for one of those sit-down meals at places like Carnation Cafe, Lamplight Lounge, all of those places require reservations, and you definitely need to plan well ahead of your visit before you do it. Getting a reservation at Disneyland can be kind of competitive, so make sure you're checking the app at least 30 days before your visit to try to secure a dining reservation. Otherwise, you'll be stuck trying to join the walk-up waitlist, and that can be a little bit tricky, particularly if you're not super familiar with the app. Make sure if you want a meal for your first visit, you're booking on the app well before your trip. Tip number 7, you don't need to commit a ton of time to get a good fireworks viewing spot. So on my first visit, I saw the Disneyland faithful out in force, camping out 3.5 hours before showtime for the fireworks. I thought maybe I was missing something. So I just want to put your mind at ease here. For your first visit, you can still get a great view of the fireworks without committing that much time. So yes, if you want to be right up immediately in front of the castle, you'll need to dedicate a lot of time to parking it in front of the castle before the show starts. But on your first trip, I think you can still get a great view from Main Street. I actually love to watch the fireworks right from Main Street. You get this really nice immersive view where the projections are happening on either side of the building there. And the best part is you can slink in here 10-15 minutes before showtime and get a spot just fine. So don't waste a huge amount of time on your first visit for fireworks. You'll be okay with the Main Street view. Tip number 8, do your shopping late. This is one that took me a little while to learn. So the shops on Main Street in both of the parks, Disneyland and California Adventure, are both open a full hour after the park closes. The best part of this, instead of having to lug around that souvenir sweatshirt that I wanted with me throughout the course of the day, instead now I can just wait till the end of the evening and pick it up right before I'm about to head out of the park. The other upside, of course, is more time for rides in the middle of the day. So save your shopping for late. So there you have it. There are the 8 things I wish I knew before my first visit to Disneyland. Make sure you hit the subscribe button right down below because I'll be back here next week with another video that'll have you doing the Disney parks like a pro. I'll see you then.